What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back with another speed build, and y'all, I am finally building the Peach house for the Peach generation of the Not So Berry challenge. I think I'm gonna call this house Peachy Keen. That's the only thing that came to my brain, so it's the Peachy Keen house. So I'm building this in a world called Plum Grove because I think I want to live in Plum Grove for the next gen. So it is a world by My Sims Realty. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to check it out, but I think we're going to be living here. Now, I've never played in this world before, so this is going to be new. I have to familiarize myself with my surroundings and everything like that, but I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I do need to say this, though, because I realized that the video just kind of started with the build being done. Listen, okay. Usually I do build things from the ground up when I do videos, but today I was looking on Google for inspo pics and I only found one picture that I liked, but it was like a mid-century home and I didn't really want to build a mid-century home today. So I was just trying to like test things off camera just to see like, oh, maybe I should build it this way, or maybe I could try this shape. Sometimes I just do it just to kind of give me an idea of what I want to do. But then I ended up coming across this shape of a house and I was like, bro, I quite like this. I don't know if I could delete it and then recreate it. Like, I don't think it's going to work that way. Like, I'm going to forget something. So I was like, why don't I just start recording and I just explain it in the video? So yeah, I built this from the ground up. I just didn't show it all because I was not recording, if that makes sense. But this home ended up being a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. It's 3 bedrooms technically. However, I only furnished 2 bedrooms. One of them is a home office. So if you need it to be a bedroom, you can do that, you know. But for right now anyway, I think it's just going to be a 2-bedroom home. We may have like, 2 or 3 children, but I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes when I play. Because for this generation, you have to be in the law enforcement career, and you also have to marry a coworker. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. We'll see what Mo gets up to when we get to that part. Also, you have to master the logic and you have to master the piano skill, which is kind of funny, y'all, because I forgot to put a piano in this house. When I was first building it, I was like, yes, I need to have enough space for a piano, and then I kind of forgot that I thought of that. So Mo does have a keyboard with him, like a portable one, but there is no piano in this house, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to find space for one somewhere. And it also is kind of crazy because you're supposed to be best friends with your dog in this generation, and I forgot to include dog bowls and pet beds and stuff like that. There's no pet toy boxes. They do show up in the screenshots, but when I was recording it, I just didn't think of it for some reason, so yeah. But don't worry, they will be in the final house. It just won't have a piano. But other than that, this house pretty much has everything you need for this generation of the Not So Berry. I thought I was going to struggle a lot more with the exterior of the house because I feel like with the color peach in particular, I feel like it's such a hard color, in my opinion, to make in The Sims 3. Maybe it's just my eyesight, I don't know. But I feel like whenever I try to make peach, it ends up looking either too pink or it ends up looking too orangey. I think this looks like peach, right? I tried, y'all. I really tried. Like, I even went to Google to try to get the hex code, but the color it told me was not really peach. That sometimes happens in Sims 3, where like if you look up the hex code or you put the little like thing in, it's not quite the color that you're looking at. I don't know. I just kind of played around with the color wheel, so hopefully you like it. Oh my gosh, y'all, and by the way, while I'm talking about it, so I'm building this on one of the empty lots in Plum Grove. I think I should have built this house one tile over to the right, I think, because the pathway isn't quite even with the entry of the house. Luckily, I was able to fix it by going into edit town mode, and I just moved the fence and those trees in front. I just moved those over a little bit. But if you download this house, you could put it wherever you want, honestly. But I just kind of liked it on this lot. I fixed it in the video, but just know that if you want to play it in this world, move the fence a little bit and then move the trees if you can. But as you can see, the outside is almost done. I'm just going in now and I'm adding some landscaping. I have like one blue hydrangea, a lot of those pink low-lying plants. They kind of look peachy, you know. I'm using some stone for the entryway. I did go back later and I don't know if it's a magnolia tree. I can't remember, but it's the tree that has the white flowers on it. I added some of those out in the front yard as well. So you'll probably see those in the screenshot. So now we're on the inside of the house, and y'all, I low-key struggled with this floor plan, not gonna lie. The kitchen area came along nicely, but everything else, y'all, it was a struggle. Because for some reason, the game would not let me put the stairs to the wall, like more over to the wall. And I think it was because I had windows in the way. So when I got rid of the windows, I was able to like move the stairs over one tile because you'll see that there's like empty space. What I did though, so you can't really see it as much, I just recolored the wall inside of it to be black. So you can tell, but it's not as noticeable. It's just, one of the things that happens in The Sims sometime when you have empty space. In The Sims 4, you're able to put platforms in rooms like that, so you can't really go there. But in 3, we don't have that. So hopefully it's not too big of a deal. but I started off in the foyer. So like I said, this is a 3-bedroom home. So on the first floor, we have our foyer, we have the living room, a kitchen, we have the nursery for the next gen, which is the green generation, by the way. And then I have a downstairs bathroom. And then upstairs, we have a hallway, and we have a home office, and then we have Mo's room, who's going to be the heir for the generation, and then he has an ensuite bathroom. I thought, honestly, this house was going to be really small, and I was like, bro, I need to rebuild this, but as I kept building, we had a lot of space, like, honestly, like, especially, like, upstairs when I redid the floor plan, I'm like, bro, we have a lot of space in this house. Like, that's why we have an upstairs office, because honestly, at first, I was going to make the office be downstairs somewhere, but no. I had enough space for both. So we have the nursery, home office, and 2 bathrooms. I love that. So the first thing I was trying to do, y'all, was just trying to place stuff down. So like I said, he has to be a cop, but we don't really have that many like cop objects in the game, really. And some of the things that we do have are like by debug. And I was like, I don't know if I want to like use by debug stuff that much if I don't have to. I was going to put the plaque with the magnifying glass. And then I think there was like a key to the city object. But I was like, no, let's just not use those. Because like I don't remember or not if they show up when you download the build. I think they do. But some Sims 3 debug stuff I don't really know about. So I was like, I don't want to like place it down and then not show up, you know. But now we move on to the kitchen. So the kitchen is... it's not the biggest kitchen, but it has enough room. Like, I was able to put a table in here, and then, of course, we have all the other things. So, it's a big enough kitchen, I would say. I knew right off the bat I wanted to use the Bayside countertops. I always say this, y'all, but these are my favorite ones in the entire game. Instead of it being wooden, I made the material plastic because it looks a lot better when you recolor it. So, I tried to get these to be peachy, but I think they look pink. Again, I think it's my eyesight, and then I also think it was the lighting in the house. Because, like, I used these by debug lights because otherwise the house was going to look really dim. Even though I have windows everywhere and I put actual lights, I just feel like it was looking dim. So I'm using like 2 of the by debug lights in here. Those are those white squares that you see. Sometimes people ask me about those, like, CJ, what are those white squares? They're by debug lights. They're basically in the game. You don't see them when you play, but whenever you go into build mode or buy mode, you'll see them. But they just kind of help illuminate the space in the game, because The Sims 3, as a lot of us know, is kind of like a dark game in terms of lighting. And yeah, you could put like normal lights usually and be okay, but I like to see a lot when I do these videos, so I like to have a lot of by debug lights if I can help it, but you can always remove them if they're too much. So as you can see, the kitchen is almost done. I included a full kitchen table in here. I put like a stone accent wall just to kind of break up some of the peach in here, and then of course I'm using a fridge and stove. These are a lot better than the base game ones. Honestly, I forgot how much this house ended up being. I think it's like 58,000 simoleons, 57,000 simoleons is something around there. I need to make sure that we can afford this house. I have to go look at the other save file, because if not, we're gonna have to get some Tiberium or something. But now we move on to the downstairs bathroom. So I really like the tile. This tile is from the late night pack. I just recolored it to be more peachy. Oh, and then right here, y'all, is what I was talking about. I recolored those like empty rooms black, so you hopefully can't really see them as much. You know, you see it, but it's not really as noticeable, I feel like. But for the bathroom, I wanted to have a shower tub combo. I wanted to also have a countertop, and then we also have a toilet. I believe the toilet may be from the Bayside set. I think so. I don't really use that toilet that often, but I wanted to use it today. The countertops I'm using, though, are from the Ambitions pack, and I recolored these to match with the ones in the kitchen, but these are just like a different countertop altogether. And then the mirror, I believe, is from base game. And I'm just kind of going in now, just recoloring everything. I was trying to have like different shades of peach, because I feel like if you have everything the exact same shade, it's going to look really matchy-matchy, and it's all going to kind of blend together. And sometimes that works for builds like this, but I feel like I just wanted to have different colors. So there's like different shades of peach, and then there's like some whites and some like other colors mixed in, you know, like some brown from the window. So now we move on to the nursery. So the next generation is the green generation. So whenever I do like these kind of builds for the Not So Berry, I try to have the next room be set up for the heir. So, you know, next color is green, so I wanted the nursery to be green. I quite like how the nursery turned out. I got to use these curtains that I don't think I've ever really used before. They come in green by default, and I quite like the color scheme. I feel like the nursery ended up being like a foresty kind of theme, I feel like, because we have leaves on the mat in the crib. I'm using like some animal toy boxes and stuff like that. The rug, I think, also has leaves on it. So I don't know. It's not like full on foresty, but there's a lot of foresty touches in here. I also included a rocking chair because, you know, I wanted to have a rocking chair in here somewhere. I did not put a changing table. Y'all know, usually I put a changing table in these builds, but I really didn't feel like we needed one. in this room, so no changing table today. If you wanted to have one, you could always swap out the dresser for one. I also found these big block objects. They come with Midnight Hollow. I think it's the gold edition, so I wanted to use some of those. I also wanted to use that frog height measure thing. There's also a frog mirror on the wall, so very green in here, you know. I also like the room because it's a nice size, so even when the air grows up, I can always like swap out all of the baby stuff for like, you know, kid stuff and teen stuff and stuff like that. Funny enough, I put a baby monitor down here, y'all. I forgot to put one in his room because the way that they work, they're kind of like walkie-talkies in a way. So whenever you have one near a baby, if a baby cries, your sim can hear it in another room. I forgot to put one in Mo's room. I will go do that before I upload the build. So now we move on to the living room section. So I was trying to like have an interesting looking like angler couch moment. It wasn't really working the way I liked it to, so I was like, why don't we just use a sectional? It'll be a lot easier. So I'm using this one. I think it's from the man cave set. I put it over at an angle because I kind of wanted it to be like right there to the TV. I'm also putting the rug at an angle. I'm using a little circular glass table, and I also squeezed a plant behind it. And if you look on the wall, I have a wanted poster. I feel like Mo would have something like that in his house. And y'all, I'm really obsessed with the color of the rug. It's a cow print, but it kind of looks acid washed. So it's like a pink and like a bluish kind of color, like a grayish blue, and I really love that color scheme. I think I used the same rug in his bedroom, by the way, because I just really like the combination of the colors. I'm also using some curtains in here as well. These are store content. I think I put curtains on almost every window in the house. You may not see it right now, but I did go back and add more curtains and stuff, but I really like the downstairs area, y'all. I do need to playtest this house though, just to make sure everything works, but I really like the living room area, especially with the sectional at like a slant. I thought that was like a cool idea. But now we move on to the upstairs portion. So this is before I figured out we had all this extra space. So I was like, bro, why don't we add another room up here? So that's kind of how the home office came to be. I purposely put a door because usually I put archways for home offices, but I figured that maybe at some point we'll probably have to make this into a bedroom. So I was like, why don't we just put a door so when we do need to make it to a bedroom, I don't have to get a door, you know? So I'm using the same sectional in the hallway just to kind of fill in some of this empty space. I'm also including one of these more modern bookshelves from the base game. You don't see it, but I also put a runner in the hallway as well just to kind of fill in space. But now we move on to the home office. I knew I wanted to have a place where Mo could just do his police work in peace. So he has a bookshelf in here. He has a little computer desk. He has like schematics on the walls and a bulletin board so he can track down the criminals and stuff like that. I just really wanted to give him like his own little domain, a place where he could just work and just be in his own little like mode, you know. I also included a circular rug down here as well, and I want to say, I can't remember, but I think I put a pet bed in here. If I didn't, I know I put one in the bedroom because like after I was recording, I was like, wait a minute, CJ, you're supposed to have a dog. So I put some more like pet stuff. You'll see it in the screenshots like I said earlier. I also gave him the spotlight lamp because it looks like something that he would use in an interrogation. So I was like, why don't I just put one in his office? But that's essentially it for his office, though. I just really like the way it turned out. I love the big curtains in there and everything like that. I also went back to save because I did not want the game to crash on me. So I was like, why don't we just save real quick? But now we move on to Mo's bedroom. So like I said, I used the same rug. The bed that I ended up using, I forgot what set it comes with, but it is store content. It kind of has like a more modern vibe to it. So I used that in here. I'm also using end tables from the base game. I just kind of wanted to make his room kind of like cool, kind of chill, you know. I put a bamboo plant in here, and I also included a bamboo plant in his bathroom as well. But I wanted to just kind of give him like his own little chill bedroom. I gave him some nice art on the wall as well. He has curtains hanging up as well. So it's just a cool little bedroom. I also included a standing mirror, and I gave him a pet bed in here somewhere. But that's basically it. The only other thing is just his ensuite. And for his ensuite, I included a shower, a toilet, and then I also included the countertop. I also included some bamboo in his bathroom as well, just for the chill vibes. But overall, that's pretty much it for the entire build. So if you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. I am going to leave a link to the build if you want to download it. Feel free to change anything if you need to. I know it's very peach. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. I will see you in the next one, and please stick around for the screenshots. And bye. Thanks for watching.